We've had a lot of requests to try out Neverwinter, so we figured we'd give it a shot and let you guys know what we think. But what is Neverwinter exactly? Well, according to Steam, Neverwinter is a free action MMORPG based on the acclaimed Dungeons & Dragons fantasy role-playing game. Epic stories, action combat, and classic role-playing await those heroes courageous enough to enter the fantastic world of Neverwinter.
My cups on.
People are kind of irritated, I think, with you overall on the channel.
Is that how it is?
I've been getting a lot of messages.
I've been getting a lot of messages.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Thaco Gamers. My name is Matt.
And I'm Matt.
And this is Matt's last video. No, I'm just kidding. So today we're going to talk about Neverwinter. Now, not Neverwinter Nights. Not the old version, Neverwinter games. Well, this one is old too, but Neverwinter. Neverwinter, the MMO that was made by Perfect World and Cryptic and whatever else. So we're going to talk about Neverwinter, and this is a game that we put quite a bit of time into, and we kind of liked it. It was all right.
It was okay.
Yeah, so there's definitely things about it that we didn't like, things about it that we did like, things about it we kind of loved, things about it we kind of hated. Anyway, so go ahead. Character creation. What do you think of the character creation?
I thought it was okay. It was kind of par.
Okay. Par. I like par.
It was par for the course.
Check.
There was, once again, we created characters that almost looked exactly the same.
We have problems.
I don't know how that even happens. The one time in a game that I wanted to create a dwarf and be completely different than what I normally play, which are humans or elves or something like that.
We both had a sword and shield
both
dwarf
decided to use
with a red beard.
Shield dwarf with big beards. My guy was a little shorter and stockier than yours, but they were both plate-wearing dwarfs.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think the character creation was like one step up above WoW. As far as I didn't think it was amazing. It's nothing to like scream about how great it is. But
there are a lot of presets, but you can kind of customize the presets a little bit to kind of make yourself a little bit different. But there wasn't a lot of versatility.
Variety. Or versatility. There wasn't a lot of either of them in the character creation in this game. So it was okay, but nothing to write home about. Right. But as far as the graphics go...
Graphics I thought were pretty good for a game that's, what?
2013, probably?
2013, so what is that, like 15 years ago? Like, carry the two.
Yeah.
So like 5 years?
Yeah, 5-6 years ago. But for a game to be that old... I think the graphics looked pretty good. They're definitely stylized. They're definitely kind of cartoony. I think that helps.
Dungeons and Dragons-y.
Yeah, you could say that.
Kind of like, if you look at the Dungeons and Dragons handbook, I think a lot of the art could carry into the game.
Do you think so?
I would think so.
I think it's a little more cartoony.
It is cartoony.
It's more like the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon from the 80s.
It's more of a Dungeons and Dragons video game.
It is kind of like how a Dungeons and Dragons video game would be.
I think so. 4th edition.
So, actually, you know, I would say 4th edition was a bit more cartoony, even with the player's guides. So maybe that I would say that does.
How would you compare that to DDO's graphics?
Neverwinter there's more lights and reflections and shadows and stuff like that.
It's more whimsical.
The graphics in DDO, I think, are more realistic.
Yeah.
Which hurts its ability to age.
Yeah.
But I still think, for the age of that game, I think that looks very good as well. I would say overall, Neverwinter has better graphics. The lights and reflections off of the armor and shields was very cool.
I thought that was pretty sweet too.
So,
and there were a lot of lights.
There were
a lot of lights in that game. You cast a spell and everything lights up around you. So I think graphically it's pretty good.
Yep, I would have to agree. So, moving on, what do you want? I don't think we should just move right to combat.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, are you going to go into sound?
No.
It sounds like any other MMO.
Yeah, there's nothing spectacular.
There's lots of chinging and changing and people screaming and yelling magic words and stuff like that. Yeah. But it all sounds like it should be there.
If it was, it's competent. It's par. I would say the sound is par.
It's par, of course.
This game is
very par.
Very par.
Very par.
No, I think the sound is It's nothing nothing amazing, but nothing that's holding it back either.
Combat's really fun though.
I
think
agree.
the combat, it's got the action combat, the minimal UI for your skills. You've got your daily skills. You've got your at will skills.
At wills are right and left click.
So then your dailies, and then I don't know what the heroic abilities.
Those are your encounter abilities are Q, E, and R maybe, and then your dailies are 1 and 2. So you can only use them once your little D20 in the center fills up. It's like your ultimate.
That's kind of cool.
It is, and the combat. One of the things that we talked about a lot when we were playing this game is how much we were enjoying the combat.
Right.
It's kind of like Diablo, how they just throw so much at you. There's a lot of that.
Yeah.
And you're just fighting them off, but we were really enjoying it. The abilities are fun, the charge and hits, and there's this nice
impact
when you're swinging and your sword hits. It kind of and you can feel it. You really can feel it.
There's like a delay to it. Not a delay.
Not in a bad way.
It's going to hamper you, but like if you were really going to hit somebody, I hit my fist.
It helps
stops.
you. It helps you to feel it. But it helps you to feel it. I totally agree. And the combat in there feels better as far as just the feeling of it, the animations and everything else.
Right.
That's it's probably top tier, as I think.
Yeah.
Of all of the MMOs.
Par with ESO.
Of all the MMOs that we've played, that's top tier as far as
leaps and bounds above DDO.
Yes. Whereas DDO just had this animation that whiffed through everything regardless of so
Oh, I hit you?
feels really good. Feels really good, really like it. I didn't really pay attention to the story in this game at all. So I don't know if it's not there or if it sucks or if it's hidden.
It's not very graspy. You've got that one guy, the sergeant or whatever his name is, that kind of gives you your main quests.
Sure.
And he kind of just sits in the town, and you can bypass him altogether if you want, and just do side quests. But as far as the story, I don't know if it's really there.
Yeah, I haven't really.
They don't
noticed.
grab you with it.
Yeah, it's either not good or it's not there or it's well hidden. It's one of those three.
It's well hidden.
Now, one thing about, and there's a lot of things that are hidden in that game. For instance, being able to party up or see each other on the same map, or join a dungeon.
Or join a dungeon with the people in your party.
Their UI, it's like they saw Eve, and they're like, how can we do this? But they're not good enough to make it as bad as Eve is. So
they're like, we're going to take Eve's million menus and we're going to condense them down to 1,000. And we're gonna see how that goes.
So we did have. It's not like some games. It just makes sense. You hit a button and you get there, and everything is streamlined and makes sense how to do it.
Yeah.
For us to party up, to friend up in the game, to join a random dungeon, and those kind of things took some learning. But we didn't have to Google it.
Yeah.
We did not have to Google it. We found it out through the game, and once you figure out kind of where it's buried, you're like, oh, that makes sense. So it's doable, but.
It takes a little bit of a
expect that getting into there. You can do all of those things that you would normally be able to do in an MMO, but it's not plain as day in the UI how to get to those particular things.
And we're not completely incompetent.
No, we're not.
Not completely. We've played a few games.
Now, as far as the story, going back to the main story, not so much, but one thing that they do have that we kind of really like, or I really liked, was the Foundry. So all of the players, any player, if they want, they can create a quest in the game.
Yep.
And they can have quest givers in taverns, give them out, or it can be on a bulletin board, or you can just go browse into the menu and just search for it and find that quest and give it. And with the Foundry, when you create these quests, you can create your own areas, your zones, your dialogue. They give you all these houses that are normally closed off where you can make the door active, where you click on it and you go in and it has your quest in there, and you can create your own places on the maps and just everything.
Yeah.
So, and we did a few of those Foundry quests, and the stories were really good. Some of them were a little buggy, but that all depends. You're going to get that with player-made content the more that they decide they want to work out the bugs.
Right.
But people can rate them. The higher-rated ones usually are a lot better for that, and it's really cool. And that's more so where the story and the dungeons and the world and everything, where I think this game really has something that no one else has.
And I think that's what I was going to say is that I think the story in the Foundry, the player-made stories were more grabbing than the actual game
for sure.
story.
I agree.
And I don't know if that's something that they intended, but that's how the way it worked
Yeah,
out.
no, I totally agree.
Some of them were pretty cool. So, player-made content. I mean,
It basically means this game, so long as it has
It's
players,
endless.
can live on forever.
right.
And that's really smart, and I don't know why more people don't do it.
Yeah.
But they don't. So
Right. It's probably hard to implement.
yeah.
That would be hard to implement. Something that's fair.
So
So the world is not that big.
yeah,
It didn't seem like.
no, it did not. It was not up to the standards of some of the other MMOs that
Right.
we've played and enjoyed.
It was very
instanced, kind of. Not really.
compartmentalized.
Yeah, compartmentalized. That's a better way to word
it's,
it.
You've got your zone, and then you've got a couple of exits from that zone. And when you go to exit, it pulls up
The world map.
Dragon's Age style map. And then you pick the place you want to go, or wherever your quest is highlighted. You go there, and boom, you've got your little zone. So,
And then once you get there, it's just like Dragon Age, where
Right.
you're there and you're just limited to that area, and you can. I mean, that area is open world,
Right.
But you can't. There's the
Yeah.
limited. They do a good job of making it because there's houses or
Yeah.
because there's whatever along the edge, and
to
you
kind of
don't.
look like it's supposed to be
Yeah.
that way, and you can't go this way because there's houses blocking.
So it's not like invisible walls
Right.
necessarily,
Right.
but
there were a few.
yeah, true. Oh yeah, but yeah. So there's still just these small areas, and then when you get to the end, and most of them, I think you just went in and came back, didn't we?
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
remember even going out.
Going out a different direction.
Yeah, you just come back to your entry and then
Yeah.
click there, and then you just find another place on the map to go.
To go.
Compartmentalize is an excellent way to
Yeah.
word that.
It was very.
It's not
open
not a
world.
seamless open world like
Right.
Warcraft or ESO or whatever else.
So that kind of, I mean, the immersiveness is
goes way down because of that.
it's good in a zone, but
Yes.
when you have to go other places, it kind of takes you out of that fantasy world.
Yeah.
So you don't get the World of Warcraft running from one zone to another,
To
getting
feel-
that climate change,
And to feel how big the
to
world
feel how
is.
big a world
Yeah.
is. You feel like everything's really claustrophobic, and it kind of makes everything condensed.
I would almost say most of the zones we went to were about the size of a WoW dungeon, like a bigger WoW dungeon.
I agree. Yeah,
So,
I would agree with that.
and there's maybe on the map we saw about 25 zones. So if you took
Yeah.
all of that,
They kept opening up depending upon
Yeah,
the
that's
quests
true.
that you get, though. But so I mean, there could be hundreds of them, but it's very,
Yeah.
it's very compact.
yeah, yeah,
So-
it's not a huge world by any
No,
means.
No,
So.
it's like they took a whole world like Faerun, and just took one little continent.
Mm-hmm.
They took like South America and said, okay, that's where you get to run around it.
Yeah.
So it's very unfortunate.
So Burgleflickle is what I would say.
Pros.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to?
I'll go first.
Okay, you go first.
My number one was graphically, it looked good.
Okay.
It looked good for its age. It played well. It looks like something I would want from a Dungeons and Dragons style game.
I agree. I actually have as one of my pros graphics as well.
All right.
So
Not only are we making the same characters, we're making the same
making
pros.
the same points.
What is your number one?
My number one is the impactful combat.
Okay.
I really enjoyed the combat,
Yep.
and I thought that was one thing that really helped this game to stand out on top of a lot of other MMOs.
Yeah.
The combat is fun, and it's very, like I said, if you like, the best way for me to describe it is if Diablo, you zoom right in on that guy, and you're just fighting the million things that you fight.
It's actually
Diablo.
one of my pros.
Oh, fun active combat.
Active combat.
So-
one of the things that we didn't touch on that we talked about in length was the dungeons, the actual dungeons. One of the coolest dungeons, and I know you're thinking of right now.
Am I thinking of traps?
One of the coolest dungeons was actually one of the smallest ones we had seen in the game, and it puts you on kind of like a game table, and
Oh,
there's
yeah.
a storyteller, and he's crafting these encounters for
That's
you.
right.
And it's just endless waves of these
Yep.
monsters that you have to fight over and over and over, and at the end of these waves, he says, do you want to keep going? You know, you can opt out now and take your treasure, or
Right.
you can keep going and fight some more. And then the next level, it amps up, and then it ramps up again, and it just insane, but it was super fun, and the crazy like high, euphoric screen blur that it was doing in between the things was really cool, I thought.
And when you died to try to make your way back in there too, you had this whole gauntlet of hell you had to go through.
It was a gauntlet of hell.
It was just to get back. It was literally a gauntlet. Like it was elevated paths, so if you fall off, you have to run back, and then there's just blades and saws and knives and arrows,
spears coming
everything,
at you,
and you have to make your way through that, which I thought was a neat way to delay your way back into that.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And you can also have your friends try and resurrect you a certain amount of times, if they can, in the middle of combat too. But yeah, man, those traps, dude. Those traps in this game, they are ridiculously, I don't know if I'm just oblivious to the world around me when I'm playing a video game and looking at everything else. I hit every single trap I came in contact with. Every single one, and multiple times. It wasn't just that one time.
My favorite one was when I was standing, and I've explained this to several people, but I'm standing behind Matt, and I watch him. There's a door, and so the door is here. The walls were like this.
The walls come in
and
like
Matt
this.
comes up, and a spear comes out and stabs him. So he scoots over this way, and a spear comes out of that one and stabs him. And it was amazing to sit and watch that. Because there were two or three times with that dungeon, the same thing happened.
Same thing happened every single time. I get hit by one, I'm like, oh crap, get out of the way. Blah, get hit with another one. But even that one where you walk through the walls are illusions.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a trap right behind him. I know there's a damn trap behind it. Nobody puts an illusionary wall without a trap behind it. Nobody. Even a DM in regular paper book Dungeons and Dragons puts a trap behind an illusionary wall.
Yeah.
I hit it every time. I hit it every single time. I hate you.
That was funny. I loved it.
It was pretty funny. It sucked though.
So what was your third pro?
Because we kind of hit each other's both number ones and
Yes.
twos. My third would be, it felt like there was an active player base.
Sure.
Because everything was so compartmentalized, it felt like
Every place we went, there were a bunch of people right there and moving around.
Yeah.
And
So they did a good job making the world feel like it was alive.
And that's another thing I was going to say, add to that, is that all of the NPCs are mobile in in a believable way, almost. Right. When you watch it and see them interacting and going and moving and running through and everything else, it's a little bit more than just in other MMOs where they just stand there or where they just kind of walk to here and then walk back to there.
Turn,
yeah.
Flip a coin.
Yeah. So
look around.
So I would agree with that.
Yeah. So it looked like an active world.
My third pro, it did look like an active world. Mm-hmm. My third pro is the Foundry. I love the fact that the players are given the ability to make content for this game, and that's for me the biggest draw. I love the idea of that. I love the idea. For me, I like the idea of just creating content for it, because that's neat and fun and cool to be able to do that and put it in there and just see what people think of it.
I think that's an amazing idea to throw into a game, especially an MMO, where everybody else in the game can play your content and then vote on it and give constructive criticism or just
destructive criticism.
Go roll D20, you suck. But the fact that that's even in there, that the creators decided to put the content in the players' hands is an amazing idea. Unfortunately, they didn't go as far as I think they should have.
Which goes to my first con.
Hey, there you go.
Segue. I don't know if...
On to cons?
Are we done with your pros?
Yeah.
Oh no! Yeah. So my Foundry was a pro. So that moves it right on to my first con, which is the lack of support for the Foundry. When we first got back into this, I looked into the Foundry. It was down. I went onto Reddit and looked at it. Redditor said, "Oh yeah, that's never up. When it is up, it works for 3 or 4 months, and then something breaks on it, and it's down for a month." So. I haven't experienced that personally, but that is what they had said, the people that have been into that game for a while. So that's a bummer.
Yeah.
And they haven't really... Because I played this game right when it came out. I was actually in the beta for this. And the Foundry basically seems to be exactly the same as what it was before.
Yeah. That's unfortunate, because with something so groundbreaking like that in a game, to where if you're a player and you want more content, go make it.
Yep.
You don't have to wait for an expansion. You don't have to wait for these people to get off their butts. And You don't have to wait for an engineer to get off his butt and actually go out and create an expansion and say, here you go, here, give me $20, I'll give you more stuff. You go in this foundry and you make your own content. You can make your own story, and anybody can do that in the game. It's not just subscribers. It's not just non-subscribers. It's everybody as a community can make content for these games.
Yeah.
And if you're a publisher, you want something like that in your game.
I would think so.
If I were a publisher, I would look at these things and I would see what's 5-star and above, and I would take that stuff and upgrade the graphics for it and upgrade maybe some of the dungeons, put some more mechanics in it.
Work out some of the bugs or something.
Release that as somebody, as an expansion down the line.
Have a contest.
Exactly.
Say, hey, we're going to introduce a new dungeon into the game, put it in the foundry, and the top 10 after 2 months in the foundry, we'll go look at it and see it and take it and bring that in and give that person just in-game credits for it.
Put the guy in the game.
Create a character.
Have him be the quest giver.
Yeah.
Have him standing there in the dungeon leaning up against the wall or something like that. Hey, welcome. I didn't know anybody came here.
Yep.
That kind of stuff. But the fact that they could have that ability and they haven't implemented it or gone on to that extent is really a bummer.
Yep. What's your first con?
My first con is the lack of character versatility. You get your character, and I've noticed when I was leveling up my paladin or oath-bound paladin that you have the skills, and then you have to pick a certain amount of them to get to the next tier, and it kind of forces you, and you can't upgrade those abilities until you get to a higher level, but it kind of forces you to pick all of the skills that you have, and then you can kind of pick and choose, which ones you want, but it's very limited as far as, like, for lack of a better word, talents or skills. The daily abilities, you get 1 or 2, and then you can kind of swap out a third one. So it's very limiting in the way that you can customize your character.
It is. I agree. I mean, there's really nothing I have to add to that. I pretty much agree with everything you said with that.
Yeah.
As you should, all the time. Next con is that it's not open world, which we pretty much already completely touched on this. I don't like the compartmentalized world. I don't like where you just go to a door or a scene changer or whatever you want to call it. And when you get there, just, here's the rest of the world. Where do you want to go? Oh, I guess I want to be on the other side of the world now. Click, and then you just show up. So I don't like that. I like open world games, especially in MMOs.
Right.
So that's kind of a cop out. Yeah,
it is kind of a cop out. Yeah.
So
that's actually, I came up with 4 cons for this game, and that was one of mine, the lack of open worldness.
Okay.
So my second one is, from what I've read and from what I've seen in the game, is the cash shop.
Yes.
So from what I've read is that once you get towards end game, the cash shop is really kind of buy to win.
Yeah. Like a necessity to compete.
It is. It's a necessity to compete with other players, and it's as far as crafting, you need to buy things from there. You got to spend real money to get ahead, and that's kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
I don't like a cash shop like that. Do it like ESO. Make it cosmetic. You want money? People will buy to look different.
They
will buy your stupid wedding dress that you have on your cash shop just to run on a wedding dress. I'm telling you, I know you do.
It's my Dennis
Rodman.
Rodman.
I have the tuxedo.
It's my Dennis Rodman.
I'm telling you, Dennis Rodman. So people will buy that stuff. You don't have to put potion that gives you X amount of strength or X amount of health, to get you better. Just put a stupid hairdo in there and somebody will buy it.
I agree.
Look at Fortnite. People pay to get the skins, in a game, and they'll keep playing that game because they know it's even.
Yep. I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
And my next con has is on that same idea, but it's the bullshit loot and inventory and space and keys and currencies.
I have to spend real money to get more loot space. Like, come on!
And they throw so much loot at you for every 1,000 different version of currencies and crafting and everything else. You don't know what to keep. you fill up so quick. They immediately are throwing you, hey, you're out of space now. Everything here, and they even make it hard to find a vendor to sell the shit at. You know what I mean? So you have to individually destroy these items. You know what I mean? So bullshit loot and inventory space and all of that kind of stuff. And the keys that you get to, and all of that kind of stuff. I don't like that. You can simplify that. I think that's purposely made convoluted and space hogging and everything else to push you to the cash shop, and that is okay. What's your next?
Very annoying. So my third con, kind of along the lines of EVE Online, is the menu insanity.
Oh, kind of like what we touched on before.
We hit it earlier, but I mean, it's not as bad. And if you spend time and actually go through them and learn them, it's really not as bad as everybody thinks. But when you first jump in and you're thrown into all these menus, or every time you log in, you get 4 menu pop-ups that say, okay, your daily login, okay this, okay that. You know, go to our cash shop, buy this key to open this chest that you found.
Even us, when we were, right down to the fact we're like, okay, I'm standing by the fountain. You're like, well, I'm by the fountain, I don't see you. Okay, well, let's group up. Okay, well, how do you group? Maybe if we group up, we'll see each other. And then we group up and still nothing. And
I got to switch to your shard. Okay, so I switched to his shard, and then finally, there he is, standing there, right where I left him.
So, no, I totally 100% agree with that.
Yeah, so now, it's unfortunate.
What is your, and there's kind of, I guess this would kind of be my fourth one too. The only reason I'm going to say this real quick is all the different currencies that there are in the game. There's gold, there's diamonds, there's astral diamonds, there's celestial coins, and there's all this other kind of crap.
Yeah.
And the reason, I hadn't mentioned that yet, but I gave this game, for my rating for this game, I give it 1 gold, 1 zen, 1 rough astral diamond, 1 astral diamond, and 2 celestial coins.
It's like 8 cons all in one.
So I gave this 6 out of 10.
It's 6 cons all in one.
That's not cons, that's my rating. 6 out of
10. So I gave it actually a 6 out of 10 too. I gave it 1 ring bearer and a fellowship of 5. So suck on that.
So thank you for joining us today on the Thaco Gamers, where we talked about Neverwinter. If you have anything that you would like to say about Neverwinter, please do so in the comments below. Or you can email us, or you can send us a letter in the mail, or I don't care, smoke signals. If you're anywhere near where we're at, we'll check it out there too. So if you have anything you'd like to say about Eve, please say it, or not Eve, Neverwinter, please say it in the comments down below. And also feel free to like and subscribe. And thank you for joining us on the Thaco Gamers. I'm just going to relax now. Video's done.
Peace. What are you doing?